If you stay to the end, you'll understand the one mental rule that separates gamblers from real traders, and it might be the most important thing you ever learn. People think the stock market runs on luck. They think money is made by guessing, gambling, or getting lucky at the right moment. But the truth is, the market doesn't reward luck. It rewards discipline. It rewards patience. And it rewards people who can control their own mind when everything feels chaotic. There was a man who started with just $5,000. No Wall Street background. No hedge fund. No team. Just an old computer. An empty room. And a level of focus most people don't have. In just a few years, that small account grew into $160 million. His name was Takashi Kotegawa. And this isn't a story about magic signals or secret indicators. This is a story about mindset, and the first rule that quietly separates losing traders from the ones who last forever. When people look at massive success, they only see the profit. They don't see the process. They don't see the repetition. They don't see the boring, unglamorous work that happened every single day. And that's where most people fail. Because the part that makes you rich is usually the part that feels boring. Takashi didn't treat trading like gambling. He treated it like showing up to a job. Every single day, he showed up the same way. Same focus. Same calm energy. Same routine. He didn't open charts just to feel busy. He didn't click buy or sell to feel excitement. Every move he made had a reason. Every trade existed inside a set of rules he refused to break. His biggest enemy was never the market. It was emotion, fear, greed, anger. He understood that emotions were like viruses inside a system, and if it didn't control them, they would slowly corrupt every decision he made. So he made a promise to himself, very early on, a promise that became the foundation of everything. He promised he would never place a trade impulsively. No matter what, when his mind felt rushed, he stopped. If he felt fear, he slowed down. If he felt excitement, he stepped away. Most traders think they need better indicators, but he understood something most people don't. If your mind isn't stable, no strategy in the world can save you. He started small. He focused on tiny wins, tiny losses, tiny improvements. Over and over again. He wasn't trying to get rich fast. He was trying to get better every day. That repetition slowly built something inside him, a kind of calm that didn't shake when the market moved violently. While other traders panicked, he stayed quiet. While others chased trades, he stayed patient. He treated his mind like an athlete treats their body, training every day, even when nobody was watching. He wrote down his rules, not just price levels, but emotional triggers. He tied his behavior to a system so tight that chaos couldn't break it. If a trade moved against him too long, and the setup wasn't perfect, he exited. No debate, no revenge trade. No emotional reaction. He didn't stare at charts to predict the market. He studied them to understand behavior. He stopped asking, is price going up or down, and started asking, why is it moving like this? He tracked supply. He tracked demand. He observed sentiment. He watched tiny shifts in trend before they became big moves. And after every trade, he wrote dot. What he thought, what happened, what he felt. That wasn't just journaling, that was self-discipline training. Because trading doesn't really expose the market. It exposes you. Most people are impatient. They feel like if they're not trading, they're missing out. But one of the strongest skills he built was learning how to sit still while being mentally ready. There were days he did nothing. Not because he was scared, but because the opportunity wasn't clean. And when the moment finally came, there was no hesitation, no second guessing. Just execution. He understood something very early. Risk is not your enemy. Losing everything in one emotional trade is. So he never went all in. He never He broke his risk into controlled pieces. Every trade was treated like an experiment. Experiments can fail. That's normal. What's not normal is blowing up your entire account over ego. He fixed his risk percentage per trade. He never broke that rule. Ever dot. And because of that, his mind stayed calm. Because calm mind means clear decisions. He never treated trading like entertainment. It wasn't thrilling. It wasn't exciting. It was a business. And businesses are built on boring, repetitive discipline. He didn't celebrate small wins, but he punished every mistake with tiny improvements, compounded over time, built a monster. If you get 1% better every day, you don't stay average very long. When the market got wild, he didn't panic. He breathed. Deep breaths, controlled rhythm. He lowered his heartbeat before he ever touched the keyboard. When the market opened, he didn't jump into action. He rehearsed. He read his rules. He visualized his trades. He practiced discipline before the battle even started. And when he lost, he didn't rage. He didn't blame the market. He didn't play victim. He analyzed. Because to him, losses weren't pain. They were data. One day, the market crashed hard. Traders panicked. Accounts got wiped. Emotions were everywhere. He stayed still. He watched. Me asuret. He waited. He saw it wasn't real weakness. It was fear-driven movement. When the panic ended, he quietly stepped in. Months later, those positions became massive profits. Not because of luck, but because of discipline. Mindset wasn't a motivational quote for him. It was a daily weapon. Your strategy is only as strong as your mind. And if your mind collapses, nothing else matters. Today, you can start small. Write your trading rules. Journal your trades. Train your breathing. Respect your losses. Because here's the truth. Mindset is the stage. Strategy performs on that stage. And without the right stage, even genius falls apart. But this was only the first lesson. Because Takashi had another weapon, a dangerous one, a way of thinking that separated him from almost every trader on Earth. And that's where the story really starts. Most people who enter trading think the market owes them something. They believe that because they studied for a week, watched a few videos, or read a couple of books, they deserve to win. But the market doesn't reward effort. It rewards precision. Takashi understood something that most traders never accept. The market does not care about your feelings. It does not care about your bills. It does not care about how badly you want money. It only respects one thing. Probability. He didn't think in terms of being right or wrong. He didn't care about winning or losing a single trade. He cared about statistics. He studied patterns not to predict, but to measure repeatable behavior. While most traders look at charts and ask, will this go up or will this go down? He asked something completely different. How often does this behavior repeat? He understood that even the best setups fail sometimes, and that didn't scare him. Because his focus wasn't on perfection. It was on consistency. Most traders lose money because they emotionally attach to a trade. They want to be right. They want validation. He wanted clarity. He treated trades like flipping a biased coin. Not a gambling coin, a calculated one. If a setup had a 60% chance of success, he didn't care if this one trade lost. He knew the next 100 trades would tell the real story. That shift in thinking is what separates real traders from emotional gamblers and never side. This trade owes me a win. Save. This trade is one sample in a long data stream. That mindset deleted fear. Because fear only exists when you believe one trade defines you. He designed systems. built around statistical edges, not hope, not predictions, not feelings. He mapped his trades like a scientist. Entry behavior, volume, reaction, liquidity zones, market sentiment. Everything measured, everything tracked. He created playbooks instead of wishes. Most traders refresh charts, like they're scrolling social media, constantly reacting, constantly emotional. He treated charts like legal documents, slow, analytical, precise. If price didn't behave exactly how his model expected, he didn't fight it. He stepped aside. Because probability depends on confirmation, not opinion. He understood that. Overconfidence was just ego wearing a suit. And ego is what destroys. Accounts.ego makes you double down when you're wrong. Ego makes you ignore stops. Ego makes you revenge trade. He never needed to be right. He only needed to be disciplined. While retail traders posted screenshots of wins, he studied screenshots of losses, because losses showed the flaws in thinking. He didn't try to recover money by forcing trades. He tried to improve the system. He didn't increase position size because he felt good. He increased it only when data earned the right. He grouped trades into batches mentally. 1 trade didn't matter. 5 trades didn't matter. 100 trades mattered. He viewed performance like a long-term business report, not a daily emotional roller coaster. Even during big losses, he stayed neutral. Not angry, not excited. Neutral. Most people think neutrality is weakness. It isn't that, it's control. He didn't daydream about profits. He didn't fantasize about luxury door. He fantasized about flawless execution. Because flawless execution produces money. Money never produces discipline. He followed a system even when it felt uncomfortable, especially when it felt uncomfortable. Because comfort is what keeps people average. He accepted drawdowns as part of the process. He respected losing streaks. He never broke structure just to feel relief. And that made him unstoppable. Every time he clicked the mouse, he expected uncertainty, because uncertainty is what makes markets exist. If trading was predictable, there would be no opportunity. He trained his brain to be comfortable inside randomness. That's a rare skill. Very rare. He built emotional immunity. Wins didn't make him arrogant. Losses didn't make him depressed. That emotional balance created sharp focus. Other traders were busy proving themselves. He was busy improving himself. He didn't chase breakouts. He waited for confirmations. He didn't jump into pumps. He stalked reversals. He didn't marry trades. He dated probabilities. That's the difference. Price action did not impress him. Behavior impressed him. He cared about patterns repeating, not patterns looking beautiful. He stayed grounded even when his account grew, even when numbers became crazy. Because when money gets large, mistakes get deadly. He kept his rules the same. No exceptions. No emotional shortcuts. The market isn't beaten by force. It's beaten by surrendering to logic. And once you understand that, you stop reacting. You start operating. But there was another level to his thinking. A dangerous shift. He stopped looking for opportunities and started focusing on waiting like a predator. And that's where the real power began. Most people believe power comes from action. They think that if they're not clicking buttons, if they're not jumping into trades, if they're not constantly doing something, they're falling behind. But in trading, real power comes from waiting. Takashi discovered this truth very early. He realized that every unnecessary trade drained mental energy. Every forced setup weakened his discipline. Every emotional click pushed him further away from clarity. So he stopped trading like a hunter chasing prey and started trading like a predator waiting in silence. He understood that price doesn't move randomly. It moves based on tension, pressure, liquidity, fear. He started watching the market like an animal watches the wild. Quiet, still, patient. Most traders feel uncomfortable sitting still. Their minds get restless. They need excitement. They fear missing out. But he trained his brain to love boredom, because boredom meant safety. The longer he waited, the cleaner his setups became. He stopped trying to make money every day. He started trying to take only perfect trades, and that changed everything. He saw that when markets move fast, most of the move is emotional herd behavior. Retail, panic, FOMO buyers. He didn't chase that. He waited for exhaustion. He waited for liquidity traps. He waited for sentiment shifts. Because power doesn't come from speed, it comes from timing. He'd sit in front of charts for hours and do nothing. Not because he was lazy, but because he was selective. He respected the market enough to not force it. He let the market come to him. Instead of trying to chase it, he realized that most loss comes from boredom trades. The ones you take just to feel involved. The ones that weren't in your plan, so he treated waiting like a skill, a muscle. He trained it. Every time his hand wanted a click, he pulled it back. Every time his mind said, just take this quick trade. E ignore d'Italiano. That kind of control separates amateurs from professionals. When volume was thin, estalle Hawaii. When price was choppy, he stepped aside. When news was wild, he observed. And when alignment finally came, he acted with precision. He understood a core truth. You don't need to trade all the time. You only need to trade right. He marked zones in advance. He didn't chase entries. He waited for price to touch his levels. He respected structure, trend, momentum. He let the market prove itself before he believed it. Many times, he would prepare a trade scenario, wait hours, and cancel Italiano. Because discipline isn't just following rules. It's also walking away when conditions change. He didn't fall in love with ideas. He fell in love with behavior. He stayed humble. Always. Because arrogance makes you rush. And rushing gets accounts destroyed. Wade sharpened his intuition, not emotional intuition. Pattern intuition. He started seeing market rhythm, like music. He could feel when something was building. He could sense when exhaustion was near. But he never acted early. He allowed confirmation to show up fully. He didn't enter because he felt it. He entered because the data aligned out. And this waiting, this silence, this patience, it created an unfair advantage. Because while others were tired from he was fresh. While others were emotionally drained, he was sharp. While others were desperate, he was calm. And calm traders make dangerous money. He didn't waste his attention on noise. He ignored social media hype. He ignored chat rooms. He ignored predictions. He listened only to price behavior. He understood that patience wasn't weakness. It was leverage. The longer you can wait, the stronger your execution becomes. And because of that, when he did trade, it traded hard, not emotional, not impulsive, focused, prepared, calm. He treated each trade like a ceremony. Breathing steady, mind silent, vision locked. Click. And then he detached. He didn't stare at profits. He didn't babysit. He let the plan work. Because power isn't in doing more. It's in doing less, but doing it perfectly. And the moment he mastered this silence, the market started to feel slow. Predictable, controllable. But what happened next was something most traders aren't ready to hear. He didn't just wait for good trades. He started hunting for weakness. And that changed everything. Locked in, here's part 4, exactly in pure narration style. American trader tone. No robotic structure. Most retail traders stare at charts and feel lost. They see candles, indicators, moving averages, but they don't see the real story. Takashi stopped looking at the market like a textbook. He started looking at it like a crime scene. Because price doesn't move by accident. It moves because big money moves. ETN institutions and funds, banks, smart money. Those are the real drivers. Retail traders, they just react. He studied volume like a language. Every spike, every dry area, every imbalance, it meant something. He stopped asking, where is price going? And started asking, who is pushing it? When he saw sudden volume without real follow-through. It knew it wasn't strength. It was manipulation. He watched liquidity zones, where stop losses sat, where retail got trapped. He understood that big money needs liquidity. They can't enter or exit calmly. They need panic. They need excitement. So they create it. Fake breakouts, sudden dumps, violent wicks. Those weren't chaos. Those were traps. He started mapping those zones. That support became trap zones. Resistance became trap zones. He focused on where pain would be maximized. Because that's where institutions profit. Retail traders bought highs. He looked for exhaustion. Retail traders sold lows. He looked for absorption. He stopped using indicators that lagged. He used pure behavior. Volume, structure, speed. He could feel the footprint of big money. Not because he guessed, but because he observed long enough. He understood that smart money doesn't chase. They engineer. They don't buy breakouts. They force breakouts so retail can buy them. And then they unload. He stopped trading patterns and started trading psychology. He let retail traders give him confirmation. When social media was bullish, he became cautious. When fear was everywhere, he became curious. He understood that the crowd is usually late. Always. He watched order flow like footprints in the sand. The bigger the footprint, the heavier the player. He saw accumulation long before explosions. He saw a distribution before collapses. And most importantly, he stayed patient. Because smart money never rushes. They build quietly. They move slowly. And then suddenly, they unleash. He never entered on the first move. He waited for retests. He waited for false breaks. He waited for rejection. Because the real move usually comes after deception. He understood one of the market's deepest truths. If a move looks obvious, it's probably a trap. If everyone sees it, it's likely engineered to fail. So he trained himself to think opposite. Not blind contrarian, but intelligent skepticism. He learned to feel when price was being pushed artificially, when it lacked real structure. He kept track of how candles closed, not just where they moved. Fast up moves with weak closes. Weak strength, slow, steady movement with strong closes. Real control. He could see absorption zones. Big players quietly filling orders while price stayed flat. That was his favorite place, sporting charts. High dangerous money. He wasn't attracted to excitement. He was attracted to quiet manipulation. That's where edge lives. He never tried to fight smart money. He followed it like a shadow. When he felt it building, he prepared. He didn't jump. He waited. He viewed the market like a war zone, institutions versus retail, and he refused to stand on the losing side. He didn't care about being early. He cared about being right. He let others be the heroes. He wanted to be the survivor. And then one day, he stopped reacting to price completely. He started predicting behavior. That was the moment. He stopped playing the game and started controlling it. But there was one thing even more powerful: risk control. Not normal risk, war-level risk management. And that's where everything changed. Most people think trading is about making money. It's not. It's about not losing everything. That's the mindset shift that saved Takashi. He didn't wake up thinking, how much can I make today? He woke up thinking, how do I survive today? Because survival creates longevity, and longevity creates wealth. While others chased massive wins, he focused on protection. Every single trade started with one question. What happens if I'm wrong? Not how rich he'd get, not how exciting it looked. Just risk. He respected risk. Like it was fire. Useful. Powerful. Dangerous. He calculated position size before entry. He mapped stop levels before dreams. He never widened stops, emotionally. That was a sign in his rulebook. Once a trade was placed, risk was locked. No moving the stop, just to feel safe. No hoping it comes back. He accepted, lost the moment he entered. That made execution calm. Because fear only exists when you pretend you can't lose. He felt no shame in small losses. They were business costs. Like rent, like electricity. Unavoidable. But controlled. He didn't scale risk because he felt confident. He scaled it when the system proved itself. Consistency earned trust, not emotion. While other traders tried to make 50% in a day, he tried to protect his account from 5% damage. He understood that drawdowns compound painfully. A 50% loss doesn't need 50% to recover. It needs 100%. So he didn't let damage happen. He cut trades without hesitation. Not emotionally. Mechanically. Click. Done. No arguments with the market. He never married trades. He never got attached. Trading for him was transactional. Cold. Clear. Controlled. He treated capital like soldiers. He never sent them into battle without armor. Every trade had a defense. Hard stop. Defined risk. If the market turned violent, he survived. That was the goal. He didn't revenge trade. That's poison. One loss never deserved another trade. That urge, that burning desire to get it back, he killed it early. He saw traders blow up their accounts. Day after day. Emotional. Angry. Overconfident. And he promised himself that would never be him. He accepted uncertainty. He accepted randomness. But he never accepted chaos. Chaos was controlled through rules. Even after massive wins, he didn't increase risk randomly. He stayed structured. Because big accounts mean nothing without discipline. He treated risk management like air, invisible. But without it, everything dies. He reviewed drawdowns more than profits, because pain teaches more than pleasure. He studied how close he came to danger, not how close he came to glory. Even when opportunity felt strong, he respected risk limits. That's where most fail. When a trade feels too good, that's when discipline matters most. He never let one trade damage his psychology. Because psychology is fragile, and broken psychology creates bad decisions. He learned to be okay with missing moves, He learned to be okay with not participating. Because not losing is more important than winning. That philosophy slowly built something powerful. An account that never bled heavily. A mindset that never broke. A system that survived storms. And that's why, when massive opportunities came later, he was alive to take them. But then came the darkest test. The storm that wiped out traders everywhere. The crash that erased years of progress. And that's where he proved who he really was. There was a moment when the market stopped feeling normal. Volatility exploded. Prices moved violently. Fear flooded the screens. Accounts vanished in days. Most traders froze. Some panicked and sold everything at the worst possible time. Others went all in, trying to get rich off chaos. Both groups lost. Takashi did something different. He slowed down. When the market becomes dangerous, speed kills. He didn't trade more. He traded less. He decreased position sizes. He tightened rules. He treated the market like it was injured and unpredictable. Because wild conditions punish careless traders. He didn't trust obvious moves. He didn't trust patterns that had worked perfectly before. He respected the change. He knew that when volatility increases, probabilities shift, so he adapted. Most people try to fight the market. He listened. He watched liquidity dry up. He saw spreads widen. He felt fear inside the candles. But he didn't let it enter him. He viewed fear like weather. Bad storms happen. That doesn't mean you run blindly into them. He adjusted his expectations. Smaller wins. Tighter! Stops. Less exposure. He survived the chaos, instead of trying to conquer it. That's why he made money when others disappeared. When the market was crashing and everyone was screaming, he was calm. Because he wasn't trying to force profits, he was protecting clarity. He understood that panic creates opportunity, but only for those who can stay emotionally untouched. He saw patterns, forced liquidations, margin calls. Retail capitulation. That's not weakness. That's opportunity. He didn't jump. He waited. When others were at their breaking point, he was just starting to analyze. I listened to it. Silence. He watched volume fade. What artificial bounces fail. He watched real stabilization slowly build. He never guessed bottoms. He waited for a confirmation. Because guessing costs lives in this game. While others prayed, he observed. While others hoped, he executed. While others had emotional breakdowns, he had structures. He journaled harder during chaos. He became more disciplined. He removed distractions. No noise. No predictions. No opinions. Just charts. Volume. Behavior. He focused only on what was real. And when the market began to stabilize, he didn't celebrate. He didn't rush. He entered slowly. Carefully. Smart. Small risk. High precision. And when price began to climb again, he was already inside. Not because he guessed, but because he waited. That collapse didn't break him. It built him. Many traders never recovered after that. Period. Their confidence died. Their discipline collapsed. But he grew sharper. Stronger. Calmer. He realized something powerful. Surviving chaos creates unfair advantages. Because once you've seen real fear, normal markets feel easy. But the story doesn't end here. Because once the market recovered, he unlocked something most traders never experienced. Flow state. And that changed everything. Most people will never understand what real trading feels like. They think it's about money. Take if about charts. They think it is about getting lucky. But after everything, Takashi realized something simple. The market never changed. He did. At the beginning, he was like everyone else. Restless, hungry, emotional, but over time, he carved himself into someone who could sit in silence, someone who could lose without breaking, someone who could wait without fear. The market didn't make him rich. His discipline did. He didn't win because he had better indicators. He didn't win because he predicted the future. He won because he stopped fighting reality. Every mistake sharpened him. Every loss taught him. Every boring day built him. His edge wasn't secret knowledge. It was self-control. And that's the part most traders refuse to work on. People want fast money. They want signals. They want shortcuts. But wealth is built in quiet moments. When no one is watching. When no one is clapping. When it's just you. And your discipline. He stopped fearing drawdowns. He stopped chasing highs. He stopped comparing himself to others. He built a system and trusted it. That trust changed everything. He slept peacefully, not because he was rich, but because his process was clean. He never let money control his mind to let his mind control money. And that's what separated him from everyone else. If you want to trade, don't chase profits. Chase control. Build rules. Build discipline. Build clarity. Because once your mind becomes quiet, the market gets loud in all the right ways. And this is the real truth about trading. The chart is just a mirror. It doesn't show the market. It shows you. If you loved this video, hit that like button and subscribe.